Welcome back to Afropolitan Canada's series on Black mental health. In today's episode, we delve into the post-secondary experience with students Ryleigh and Micah, exploring their journeys and strategies in navigating mental well-being.
So, my name's Micah Reynolds. I'm an undergraduate student at the University of Waterloo. I previously graduated from Conestoga College with my social service worker degree. And then following that, I'm currently now enrolled at the University of Waterloo for social development studies and social work with a specialization in equity, diversity, and inclusion.
And I'm Ryleigh. I'm an undergraduate student at Wilfrid Laurier University. I'm studying health sciences and on to the path towards medical school. And I'm also doing research in Black and ethnic disparities in the healthcare system. I was one of very few Black people in my high school. It was a very white neighborhood, and it was, I would say for the most part, it wasn't blatant, like how much people would try to bring me back, where they wouldn't believe that I was able to be as successful as my white peers. There were a few blatant examples that I can think of, and it's just, I think if I can say anything that got me through all of that was just to stay strong to yourself and figure out who you are without them. Because if you are looking to other people around you for the validation of who you are and for the meaning of what you are, you're going to be brought down and you're going to fall into what they think you are, and that's so dangerous. And so I had a teacher, like I always remember this one specifically, but there was just a teacher that completely singled me out for no other reason than being Black, and it was painful and it was a brutal process to go through, to be like, no, you're being racist, you are picking out me specifically, you're saying that I'm getting angry, well, I'm just expressing my opinion. And I think he was upset that I had opinions in the first place. I think he was upset that I felt comfortable to express them. And it was a moment to me of having to fight that and say, no, I'm going to express my opinions. I'm going to stay strong to myself, because if I didn't, that wouldn't be true to me. And so as you go through these processes in these institutions and have all of these people trying to pull you back, you have to just fight it and stick to yourself and know that if everything else around you fails, you have yourself and you have you. And so when those people are bringing you down, stay to that. Then also, of course, you need your social supports around that too. And so I have very supportive family members who were able to bring me to the realization that, like, no, this isn't me. This is not my fault. This is him. This is not anything that I was doing. I didn't do anything wrong. And so finding those supports around you to help you navigate through those things as well, because it's so much of an emotional strain. I think that's the biggest thing for me through it, was that it was so emotionally draining to deal with those setbacks that it was difficult to want to continue and to stay happy and to stay motivated and realize that I'll be happy once I get there, because if where I'm going is the same as where I am now, I'm still gonna have all these people bringing me down all the time. So staying true to yourself and staying close with your social supports was like the only thing that was gonna get me through the transition into university from a high school that didn't completely support me as a Black person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I would say that even in my own experience, like I know that as Black people, like we're growing into a comfortability, and I've been in a comfortability of fighting to get to where we want and need to be. And I figure that it's very important that we also invest in rest and recovery, especially because you can only put out what you're putting back into yourself. So I find that in the context of preparing for post-secondary, it took a lot of unlearning, a lot of realization, a lot of confidence building, a lot of mobilizing with the Black exemplars and that who are surrounding me. Like I really wanted to be motivated and to enter into a space of knowing that I can attend these schools confidently, knowing that I will oftentimes face disparities and discrimination in that. But honestly, I really just had to enter into a space of staying true to myself, as you said, understanding that the only ways in which we can tackle the stigmas and to really break down the barriers is to have more Black people who are attending post-secondary institutions, and to not feel like these spaces are unavailable to you. Like, you really have to sit there and sit with yourself and know that if you're able to attend high school throughout, and every other student is told, oh, like their professors or their teachers are telling them like, oh, like this is your course plan, I believe that you should take this, this, and this in post-secondary school, like knowing that you as a Black student are also well deserving of that, and knowing that there is a plan for your future and that you are able to attend what was once unavailable to us and where we weren't even allowed to attend. So I believe that it's important to just find within yourself the confidence to know that I am deserving of these opportunities and I will utilize them to the best of my abilities.
I think one more thing that I wish I did going into university, being there now, I can see how much it would have been of value to have that community there for me once I got there immediately. And so we have things like the Black Students Association, and we have the Caribbean Students Association, and all these things, but they're harder to find than they should be. And when I talk to my other Black friends at school, they all say the same thing of like, they were just wondering like, where are all the Black people? Like, where are we? And so you have to put the work in, but you can make connections before you get there. And I wish I did that. I wish I even just found one Black student who was already there, who could show me the ropes. And if you can make those connections in that community, whether it's through social media or whatever other outlets you might have, trying to make those connections and meet people before you get there, so that when you get there and you are looking into a sea of people that don't look like you have somebody you can call. And you have a phone number that you can send a message to and be like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to somebody who understands me right now. Because it was more difficult to find than it should have been. And I think if I tried to do that work and tried to make those connections before I got there, it might have just been just a little bit easier to feel like my culture had a place there, knowing that somebody else has already navigated this and that it's possible. Because I don't think I even found out about the resources that were available until the end of my first year. So having somebody that had that would have been really, really helpful. And being able to start that community building from pre-first year would have been great too.
Well, I also do feel like a lot of the responsibility does fall onto the hands of the institution, because there we go again with expecting Black people to be the ones navigating the experience, experiencing the experience, and then having to do the work following that experience. So I feel like, why isn't it that these Black student associations aren't in orientation forms or emails? Or why is it that Black students aren't told from the first day, like, hey, this is what's available to you if you need any help in navigating this? Because look at how much dollars you drop in. I better hope that they go and direct me somehow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fair that the responsibility is always on us to, oh, well, you want the diversity, go out and find it. Yeah. You want to find people that look like you, go out and find it. Like, where's the school at? They only there when they collecting the tuition. You know what I mean? So it's important that we hold these institutions responsible, because if you're going to claim that you value and treasure diversity, like, you better start showing it, and you better start creating that culturally inclusive and racially inclusive space where Black students are knowing, they enter into a place of knowing that, hey, like, the university is making a sustained and committed effort towards diversity. It's not just a buzzword on their website, like, they're actually making the effort and doing the work that's required.
I got goosebumps when you said that, because that's something I've been trying to work towards, and I'm on my Health Science Student Association, and that's something we've created a new role of focusing on wellness and diversity for the health sciences community, and that's something that we're trying to figure out exactly how to do. Is how do we reach these first year students who are coming in who are students of color and don't know where to go. And so I think one of the first things that I want to do, it's the simplest thing. It's like simplest thing that we could possibly do. I just want to send out a survey and ask completely anonymously, where are you from? What's your background? What cultures do you identify with? Because then we know who we're serving, right? And so we can find those people and we can say, okay, we have a huge Black student population in our program. Let's do something for them. Let's do something about that, and let's go at our initiatives from a cultural perspective, because it'll make people feel so much more comfortable so much faster. So it's sad, like you said, it shouldn't be me and my little association, right? Like I get to work with the school and we get this funding from the school to do these things, but where the school should take responsibility is making sure those actions get put in place, not making the students just solve these problems on our own and try to see what our issues are from a student perspective, right? It should be higher up.
Because these students are already facing like academic, financial, and other pressures that exist both within and outside of the school environment. So it creates a situation where it's like an inescapable reality for Black students in particular, because you're just receiving stress and fatigue from all avenues within and outside of the school environment. So it's important that, especially in the context of post-secondary, that these students are being met with resources, people, and supports to know that they're being supported, to know that they're seen and visible on these campuses, because this is what leads students to having, Black students in particular, having social isolation, basically reinforcing that racial battle fatigue, and where they basically feel like they're an imposter in their environment. So it's very important that these resources are being utilized and made available, widely available from the first day of school for these students.